Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy here with Imagine Crafts. Thanks for joining me today. So I made these two cute little spring cards and I wanted to share my process with you because I've used very different techniques to make those fun backgrounds. So this first one is a little more controlled. It's very fun, very bright, very spring colors, and it's just this beautiful simple plaid from PinkFresh Studio. It's definitely more controlled though, and it still has that color gradient, but it's very different than the next one. So I start out by laying down some Cheerful VersaFine Clair ink, and you see that I'm dabbing off my edges there just because I only put down, like you can see, two stripes of the plaid, and so I want my colors to kind of fade gently. Now when I do the green, I do the same thing because I put the green down in that left corner, and I dab off my my edges there as well because I want that to fade gently as well into more of a blend than just an abrupt end. However, you'll see here in just a second that I did not dab enough and it is a little bit more abrupt than a blend. But you'll see it'll be okay in the end. Let me encourage you, especially with the next process, just be kind to yourself and don't get caught up if there's a flub or if something that you don't like or it didn't turn out the way you wanted. That's okay. Just be kind to yourself, trust the process, and keep going. So you can see that my green is definitely abrupt. It did not blend. I went in with another layer of the yellow and then I just kept moving on. So here I have the orange and it is called Summertime. It's beautiful, and I'm dabbing off my edges again because I just want that color to kind of fade out softly. So I stamp it down and then I come in with the charming pink at the very top corner, and I will put another layer of everything down, and this really helps the colors to blend a little bit more than to have that abrupt end on any one color. So I love the way that this turns out in the end. It has that color gradient. It, like I said, it's still fun, it's bright, it's springy, could even be summery if you wanted to go that route, and I think it's just happy. So here we're going to see the finished plaid in just a second, and then we'll move on to our next one, which is more loose, I'll say. Isn't that pretty? That top corner, there's a little kind of blop there in the charming pink, but again, trust the process. It's going to be okay. So here you can see the finished one and all of my colors that I used. Very, very pretty. These VersaFine Clairs are absolutely beautiful colors, as are these Versa Magic in the dewdrop shapes. Now here I'm using Mango Madness, and then I'm also using the pink Grapefruit and the red Magic, and I blend them together to get that kind of orangey, peachy color, and then the green is tea leaves. And so I've dabbed them out on my work surface. As you can see, I'm using my craft mat and just spraying them with water till I get the consistency that I like, and just essentially making them like a watercolor. Now you can see that I'm using my T-square ruler to make my stripes, and you can use a T-square if you want to. You can use any kind of straight edge, or you don't have to at all. My original one was just freehand, and so my stripes are looser. They're definitely freehand. They're organic, and yeah, but these are obviously a little more clean because I'm using that straight edge, and you have a little bit more control over your spacing as well. You can have your lines more equidistant. So I did that on one direction, turned the panel around, and did the other direction. Now here you can see that I have a little bit of a flub, right? Let me encourage you, three things. One, don't give up. Don't freak out. Don't panic. Don't be mean to yourself. Don't throw it away. Two, you really want to make sure that you have less pigment, less fluid on your brush than I do, because it's just a little bit too much, and that's why it keeps seeping under the straight edge. And then the third is hold that T-square firmly to your paper, because that will create the barrier so that the liquid stays in its place, the pigment stays in its place, versus running up under your straight edge and creating those blops that we just don't want. But again, make sure that you don't throw it away, because as I said in the beginning, trust the process. In the end, those things won't matter. The things that really stand out as errors and things that make you want to throw it away, they really won't matter in the end. You can still see them, but as I add more layers, they just kind of fade away. They just become a part of the overall composition. And for some, they may still be glaring errors. For me, it just becomes part of the background. And then once you get your image down and your sentiment and anything else that you're going to add, yeah, it's just not that big of a deal. So I just don't sweat it. So here are my finished panels. You can see that I've die cut them with a stitched rectangle, and I've also added some extra detail, if you will, to the backgrounds. You can stop at any point. You don't have to add the flourish. You don't have to add the vintage script. You don't have to add anything. And especially when you're doing your freehand plaid, you can stop at any point. You can use as many or as few colors as you want to use, and as many or as few stripes as you want to use. So here you can see that I stamped out those sweet little spring gnomes. Those are from Simon Says Stamp. And I stamped them on the stitched heart, and I purposefully had them at an angle, and I have those edges cut off because, well, you'll see when I have the compositions all put together. I'm trying to decide which panel I want the green behind and which one I want the peach behind. Here I've made my final decision, and I put everything together with some tear-it tape as well as some on-point glue, and I add some little hearts as well as sentiments, and these are my finished cards. I think they're adorable. Now again, you can stop at any point with the details, but I love how the backgrounds are a little bit grungy, juxtaposed to the very clean heart. It's just the white, it's just the girl, and I think it's just a beautiful juxtaposition. It actually makes those stand out even more. So you can see that this background is very busy, but again, next to that clean white heart, I think it's perfect. And you can see that I have that strategically placed heart on the bunny gnome guy because I had that blop of paint, or missing paint actually. It was a wet spot and then it just dried weird. So yes, I have a raised heart actually on both of these gentlemen, and I think they're both adorable, and you can see how very different those hand painted plaids are. And even my girls, you can see that they're different as well. The plaids are different, even though I still have the same details added to the back. They just all turn out a little bit different, and I had so much fun putting these together. But you guys, let me know what you think downstairs. Do you have a favorite? Do you like the loosey-goosey hand-painted plaid, or do you prefer the more clean, precise, stamped plaid? Do you like these colors? Just let me know. Just let me know what you think. So guys, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy, here with Imagine Crafts, and I thank you for joining me. And until next time, mwah, I'm out.